Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of 8-Bit Retro Refix. And on this week's episode I'm going to be installing a RAM module into this Commodore 64G. And the RAM module I want to put in is this one. It's just an item that I've purchased off eBay. Everything on this video is not promoted. I will show you where I got these from and other things that the guy does a little bit later on in the video. But I do want to say that I have actually purchased this item. I've not been promoting. I'm not promoting him in any way for financial gain or anything like that. This is purely something I wanted to do with my Commodore 64G, and I thought I'd share it with you. So this is the little RAM module that replaces the RAM inside the G. There's nothing wrong with it. I just want to preserve it a little bit more. Knowing what the RAM's like, I'd rather take the RAM out, save the RAM, put this module in, and just give it a little bit more lease of life for a little bit longer. So there you can see the G's working fine and dandy. There's no problems with it at all. I'm not even going to bother running a game or anything for you, so I'm going to take it straight over to the bench, pop the lid off, and let's hope these RAM chips have got sockets, because if not, I'm going to be pulling out the desolder station and installing new sockets into there. So here we are over at the bench with the G. It's quite a nice little low unit, this one. I do like this one. It has like a modernised label up here, look. And I love the like of the green light at the top. And these look very, very, very creamy. I don't know whether they were supposed to be white or whether they actually were creamy. But as you can see, it's pretty much... It's beautiful colours. I don't know why, I just find it so attractive. Right, let's get these screws out and have a look to see what we've got inside. I've no doubt that I'm going to be looking at is still got screws inside there. I've no doubt that we're going to be looking at desoldering these chips off the board. There won't be in sockets. Things just got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper as they got along the line. These were almost, I think these were almost the last of the line of them. Over there. I decided to fall out now. So that's them 3 screws out. Let's just pop the lid off. Just lift that off there and the keyboard connector out. Come on. Thank you. And we can just lift the keyboard away and set that to one side. So, here we are. These are the 2 RAM chips down here, U10, U11. So these are the ones I'm going to have to desolder from the board. It's a bit of a shame really, but that's what I want to do. So I'm going to see if I can get some sockets for there. I think I've got some kicking around. So I'll dig 2 sockets out, I'll get the solder station, and we'll get these 2 chips removed out of here. And we'll get this little board mounted inside here then, like that. Right, so I've got the desolder station warming up. Dug out a couple of sockets that we can replace and put in here. So there's to the 2 sockets, and there's this new thing. I could actually just put this straight to the board, just solder it straight on into it, but it would be nice to be able to say it. The reason why I'm saying that is because if you're putting sockets in, there's always a chance of these getting bad connections later down the line. If you solder it directly into the board, it's more of a solid contact, just more of a pain in the ass if you need to change it, that's all. So I'm going to put sockets on in this time just for ease. Plus the fact, if we put this in and it doesn't work, I've then got to desolder it all again, haven't I? And put the original chips back in. So it'd be a lot easier if we just put sockets in and then we can swap back and forth if we need to. Okay, so once that's desolder stationed, warmed up, I'll remove them chips and we'll put them sockets in. Right, so that desolder station's warmed up now. I'm just going to put some flux on the chips. What I like to do is just like to help it a little bit. I flux both sides. Just want to try and get these out of here because we don't want to be damaging boards. And just a little bit of flux down both sides, at least it's got something to flow into with this flux from this side. I found sometimes it just helps it a bit easier to Get the boards out, or chips out if you like, and I'll flip that over. You can see they're just there anyway. Right, let's see if these little bad boys will come out nice and easy. Try and hold them up at the top so you can see what I'm doing. I'll fast forward it through. You've seen me do this before, so I'll just try and fast forward the video. Ooh, that took a little bit of getting out there. These wouldn't come off very easily at all, these little RAM chips. So I've done the usual trick with these little RAM chips. What I do is I put some solder flux on the other side, reflow, and solder sucked with my desolder station as much as I could, and then you can still see a lot of solder at the top side of these chips on top side of this board. So what I did is I run some more flux around the top of the chips, flipped the board back over, resoldered all the pins with fresh solder, desoldered it again with the desolder station, and it still left the tops over here. So what I had to do then is go around with a heat gun until the chips come free, and I've lifted them out. And as you can see there now, it looks nice and clean. I'll try and move it around over here. It's all nice and clean on the board. So what we're going to do now is just pop these little chip sockets in now. So I'm just hoping these light legs are nice and straight, so let's have a quick look. And they're not, look, bent as a 9-bob note. So we just try and gently move them over a little bit, and we'll see if we can get that socket in. You can see the notch at this end, so that goes up to the top up here. So I'm just going to flip that round now there, and I'm just going to try and put that socket into there. I don't know whether it's going to go in nice and easy or not. We'll have to try with them bent legs. And she's in, look, straight in, look, no problems at all. So that's his first one in. I'm just going to get a little bit of what they call Smurf poo, and just to put that on the end of there, just to hold it in place while I flip it over, and I just solder a couple of legs in place. So I'm going to just do that now, and just pop a bit of solder on these end legs. I know I haven't got any flux on there at the moment, but there is flux inside the solder anyway that I'm using. There is solder on the board as well, so I'm just going to flow that leg in. So that one's in, and we'll just do this end one on here. So that's that end one in. So now we've got them on there, we can flip his board back over. I know it's not really brilliant solder in there just at the moment, but you can see now that socket's on there. So we can have a look to see whether that socket's level or not, and it doesn't look that level. So I'm just going to spin that over now and hold the other side with my finger. And I'm just going to push up on the socket and touch that, and touch that one that we've soldered. And yeah, it's good anyway, it's not moved anywhere on that one. So I'm just going to flip that board back over again. Grab this other little socket that we've got. See which way the notch is, so we've got it up there. We'll have a look, see whether these pins are straight. No. So there's one in there that's not quite straight. You can see how they're bent all over, can't you? So they're very soft, are these pins, so you can actually just flex them a little bit with your nail if you look. You see me bending them over a little bit now. So you can actually just try and straighten them out a tad. That's looking a little bit better. A few over here that's a little bit in. That one's in a little bit. They're not too bad. So we'll just try and drop that in there now. See if that one will go in as easy as the other one did. Wiggle it around a little bit, and yep, she's gone in. So we'll take a Smurf poo again. And just stick that to the end of the board on the end there. Just shove it in, just to hold it in place. And we'll go back to soldering that one in, just as I just did then. So I've got my solder gun again, iron gun, whatever you want to call it. I'll just put a bit of solder on that one, put a bit of solder on that one, and that's held in place. Again, when you're looking at them solder blobs look horrendous, and they are, to be fair. But all I'm going to do again now is flip the board over again, if I can find it for you, and look at that socket. We'll remove the Smurf poo. The reason why I don't leave that Smurf poo is, if you get too much heat on this, it goes horrible. It just sticks to everything. So we just want to have a quick look to see how that's sat, that socket. Doesn't seem bad. So again, I'm just going to hold my finger on the other side of it and just touch them 2 points that I've just done. So I'm just going to touch that point. Didn't move. Touch that point. Didn't move. So that's it. That's the sockets pretty much installed. I just need to go over them now and just touch them all up, solder them all in, and then we can have a look and see what happens. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'll put some fresh flux on now. You can never have too much flux. The rule of soldering is, if it's not soldering, put some flux on. If it's still not soldering, put some more flux on. And then after that, if it's still solder after that, guess what? Put more flux on. So I've just spun the board around a little bit so you can see. I'm just going to solder them in now for you. You can see how I go ahead with that. Always remember, just go up to the edge, heat both pads, touch. Heat both pads, touch. That's all I'm doing, all the way down. If you notice then, I didn't put any solder on as such on them other ones. That's because there were two that I'd already put on. We had to blob them in there, didn't we? So the iron would have actually sucked some of the solder back off that pin. So that's why I didn't put any solder in there. You can see all I'm doing is just touching it. Not doing a lot there. Put a bit on that via. You can see I'm heating both up and just flowing the solder straight down my iron into it. You notice I give it a little pause after I put it on as well, just to allow the solder to flow down the leg. Take a bit off there, put it onto that one, take a bit off there, put it onto that one, give it a little bit more. So that was the one that we pinned it with, and it was a big mess, wasn't it? So we've tidied that up now as we've gone in and soldered these rest of these legs in. So that looks good now. Just wipe off the solder. So all I'm doing now is just wiping the excess solder off my iron because I don't want it on there anymore. So I've got a nice clean iron, and all I'm just going to do is just go back over them points and just touch them up a little bit. I can see a couple there that needs a little bit more solder on, so I'm just going to blob a bit on there. A little bit on that one. A bit on that one. So that's all that done. We'll clean that off with a bit of IPA now. So that's all looking nice and tidy and neat. Right, we'll flip it back over and we'll install that kit and we'll take it back over and test. What I might do first is though, I might just put the RAM chips back in just to be 100% that everything that we've done is okay before we install this new little board that we've got for the RAM. So anyway, out with RAM chips, make sure that right way around I've got the notch to the top. I'm going to pop that back in there. What we've taken out, I should just push straight back into that socket, which should be good. And this one, just do the same again, and in it goes. So we'll pop that over. I'm just going to test that now, and then we'll install that. This RAM converter. There's a VSP bug apparently in the RAM. If I'm not quite sure on what the VSP bug is, to be fair. I think it's something to do with the way that some of the games use the bug in the games, and it crashes on this revision board. So this is supposed to fix that as well. So I'm not going to put you on camera. I'm just going to disappear and check and make sure that everything's all okay again on this board. Right, so I just tested that. I know I didn't show you, but it worked. It's fine. So I can see on camera there, you can still see some traces of flux around. So I'm just going to give that a bit of a cleaner off now. Right, so that's clean. So let's pull these little RAM chips back out and let's try his new little board. That's one RAM chip out. That's two RAM chips out. And let's try this board. And that's it. We're installed. So that's a little RAM chip conversion. I'm just going to tidy up and we'll take the board over to the place where I usually test these things out. We'll get the ultimate cartridge in it and we'll see how this RAM runs. Looks good little board. Looks a good little tidy little RAM unit that. So some of you might have been wondering what heat gun did I actually use. This is one that I got off eBay. Yeah, it's Chinese jobby. It's got a nice little airspeed control, temperature control. Your temperature's displayed on this screen here, and that's all it does. It just blows out of this end. I don't think it was over dear. I think it was something about £30–40, but it does help you a hell of a lot when you're trying to get them chips out. So yeah, so that's what I use as a heat gun. If anybody wants the model number, it's there, look. GJ8018 LCD. And I found that on eBay quite a few years ago. So let's plug this board in and let's see how we get on. So here we are, back over. All I've done is plug the board back in, plug the keyboard in. If I lift it up, look, there you can see that new RAM module in there that we've just installed. So it's testing 0 page. Okay, stack page. Stack page is okay, just testing screen RAM. Takes a little while, so just let it run through its motions. That's screen RAM that's passed. It's going through its colour RAM. New 1011 seems to be okay. I don't know whether the dead test actually tests this SID or not. It just seems to go to a blank screen and then go around. In theory, you should sort of be hearing something now. So I'm just going to stick a diag test in. It is going to fail on a lot of things because the harness won't be plugged in. What is testing sound? I'll shut up. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, it has tested the sound and it's passed on the first pass on air. No problems at all. So where I got this from is from this guy off eBay. When you're looking at these pictures that I'm putting up for you now to have a look, see what this guy does. In no way have I been paid to advertise this guy. I'm doing it for you guys so you can see where I got this from. But he does a lot of other things, a bit like the Amiga HDMI adapters. He does the RF board adapter for the 64s. There's quite a few bits and pieces on there. If you look on them pictures that I'm showing you, it shows you in actual dollars. The guy is actually in Finland. Unfortunately, Finland doesn't have anything for eBay, so it has to go through US. And unfortunately, like he said in the message to me, that when he does swap it back, currencies from dollars back to euros, he loses out again. But I did say to him, I do repair quite a lot of these consoles, and that if these are a good little replacement for the RAM, I'll be more than likely buying some more for him. So go and check him out. He's on eBay. Yeah, check it out. Great guy. I think I ordered this at something like Tuesday or Wednesday, and today's Saturday while I'm recording this. So it didn't take long at all under standard post to come through from Finland to myself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pull all this back into bits and put it all back into its case, rebuild it all, get it all put back to normal, and then we'll test it out on some games and just make sure everything's all okay. As you can see, we're back over. I've put it all back together. We've got the Gideon's 1541 Ultimate plugged in there, hence why you can see that popped up there. So I'm just going to see if we can load a game. What shall we have a look at? SD card. Let's see if RU will bypass it. What's in here to test? Hold. We'll try Donkey Kong because I like to hear the sound out of that anyway. I'm going to mount the disc. I'm going to install fast load. I'm going to set the game off. Shouldn't take too long to load. So it's pretty much in, you can see it decrunching. This Donkey Kong was done in 2016 by Mayday and Alpha, by the look of that on there. So we'll skip past that intro. So this should load up now with the music that we're used to. Loading again. So yeah, that loaded up pretty good, didn't it? So that's quite a good sound on there. We'll skip past that. I'm not going to play a game on there. What I'm going to do is just start up another game now, something that's a bit more demanding, other than Donkey Kong. But as you can see, that fired up straight away. I don't think there's anything else in there. There's all the stuff in here. Ghostbusters. Just try to think of a demanding game. Gianna Sisters. Let's see if we can find that. There we go. Great Gianna Sisters. Enter. Mount disc. Reset. And this might take a little bit of time to load, so I might just skip past this little bit for you while it's loading, and we'll see what it likes when it fires up. So that should be loading in now. It shouldn't take us too long. So I'm not seeing anything wrong there, it's all side scrolling smoothly. Yeah, this is still the joystick that has the faulty left movement, so I might struggle in here, but we'll have a go anyway. So you can see, look, on the joystick, moves to the right, okay. Oh, on the last video it wasn't moving left properly. Okay, let's see if we can see what we can do. Yeah, it seems to be playing nice, does that? Oops. So yeah, so that seems to work perfectly fine and dandy. So I like that little RAM module that we've put in there. It gets away with the old prehistoric RAM that was in there, that's prone for failing, etc. So like I said, I just wanted to put this into my G, because I do love my Commodore 64G. I just wanted to prolong it a little bit longer. And I will be visiting his eBay shop again and see what else we can get for this. This board, what I want to do eventually is replace everything with modern chips as best as I possibly can. I'll be changing all the ROM chips later when they arrive from US. I've got some proper EPROMs that are pin for pin for the original kernels, characters, etc. We're going to replace all them. Also on down the line, there is one guy that's developing new CIA chips, so I'm looking forward to them coming out so we can get them replaced in there as well. So we should have a pretty solid Commodore 64 that's going to take me right through into my retirement on this one. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any comments that you'd like to leave behind, I'd love to hear from you. If there's anything that you want me to do, i.e. if you want me to get an A500 HDMI adapter and show you that being installed, I'll get one of them and do that. Or if anybody wants to send me one for a test, I'll quite happily do that. I was speaking to another gentleman called Jay over Facebook the other day. He's over in, I think he said it was Ohio. So he's currently posting me some bits and pieces over to modify these Commodore 64s. So yeah, we'll see what all that's about when it turns up. So once again, I hope you've enjoyed another episode of the 8-Bit Retro Refix, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.